Right, we'll move to the next questions. Question number 38. Dr. Strong, look at the requirement of the questions. These are 10 mark questions. Part A, evaluate the reason why the problem in the R&D unit of the C pharmaceutical company might have developed. Evaluate the reason why the problem in the research and development unit of the C pharmaceutical company might have developed. B, recommend action that could be taken to encourage creativity and innovations. Right. So, now there may be few questions which come into your mind. So, what are the questions which come into your mind? One question is from what area this question has been tested. So, it talk about creativity and innovation, it talk about research and development. So, we are a little bit confused. So, therefore, so we look at about the facts given also to get a better understanding. The C pharmaceutical company is in a state of crisis. Development of new drugs and treatment on which the very survival of the organization depend has slowed dramatically in recent years. Now, they are talking about pharmaceutical company called C. Now, what has happened? So, there are some problem related with the development of new drugs and treatment which has been slowed down. This organization is highly depending on that. An investigation into the operation of the organization research and development unit has revealed that the operation of the organization research and development unit has revealed that the slow rate of innovation has much to do with the way department has been managed. So, we look at about the research and development unit very carefully. Then we found that slow rate of innovations is one of the significant factor. The head of the unit, Dr. Strong, regard it as his duty not to exceed the unit budget allocations and has introduced strict control to avoid this happening. Look at the style of this guy. So, academic guy, Dr. Strong is acting as head of the unit. He never allowed to exceed the budget. So, within that you want to make the innovations and has introduced strict control to avoid this happening. So, he is not allowing to exceed the cost. So, what type of things happen in such situations? So, sometime you may have been develop a product to a particular level. Now, the budget is over, you can't go to the next level. So, therefore, sometime you may stop that particular innovations. Further development may not be done related to the particular product innovations. Members of the R&D unit are set clear target with time limit and expect to be working in the laboratory office on a 9-5 basis every working day. Look at internal environment. They have been given clear target, within the time limit given they have to complete it. So, they have strict time period, they have to come before 9 o'clock and stay until 5 o'clock. This system of control is not to the liking of research staff. They may need more freedom, and several of the most innovative members have left. They do not like, they have left. The morale of the remaining staff is very low, and further resignation are expected. So, then the remaining staff is also not happy, and we can expect more resignations in the future. Right. What do you think? So, something wrong with the leadership style definitely. Right. This guy is very strict, so that may reduce the creativity. Then whatever the structure given here, if you look at about structures, our discussion regarding the structures, try to look at about the different structures. You remember structures like this. This you know this functional structure, then multi-divisional holding company structures, metric structure, team based structure, project based structure. Then you have learned about different bases we have to use when you are selecting a strategy, then centralization and decentralizations. Right. In addition to that, right, if you look at about these things given here, you may remember that you have learned two different type of organized structures. One is called mechanistic structure, other one is called organic structure. So, mechanistic structure is having a similar features of the bureaucracy. So, that work according to define rule, policies and procedures, clearly defined job description can be identified, employees are given target and they want to achieve them. Then organic structure is completely different from that. So, that is more flexible. For example, you can have more flexible working arrangement in there, team based working arrangement can be established in there. So, if you look at about the facts given here, these facts are more related with mechanistic or bureaucratic organization structure. So, that may not be suitable for organization like this. Their primary function is to make innovations, but they are not in a position to make innovations. Why they are not in a position to make innovations? Because of this strict rules have restricted them to make innovations. So, actually if you look at the problem associated with this organization, one definitely the leadership style of this Dr. Strong. He is not a flexible leader, his style is not matched to this type of organization which need creativity. Then the second one is, the second problem is this organization structure is having more mechanistic structure, right. So, that discourage innovations, creativity, those are the two problems they have. Then B, so what you can recommend it here, recommend action that could be taken to encourage creativity and innovations. So, what are the different action you can suggest them to encourage creativity and innovations? One option is to remove this Dr. Strong. So, this guy is a fully academic guy and very difficult. This guy want to see these members are adherent to these rules as it is. So, you have to replace this guy first. The second thing is you have to introduce more flexible organized structure, more organic type of organized structure should be introduced that include more flexible HR policies, for example, more flexible working arrangement, team work should be encouraged. So, that may be the solutions you can suggest. And at the same time in this type of culture, so they should have established clear defined vision and they should be ready to accept the risk, and they have to carefully study the industry to determine what is happening. Based on that they have to take decision. So, two main suggestion actually, replace this guy, this Dr. Strong. Then the second suggestion should be to introduce more flexible organized structure similar to organized structure. It should encourage teamwork and more flexible working arrangement and other more flexible HR policies. So, this is not a difficult questions. I think you can handle this one very easily, right. So, look at about the answer. Right. Look at the part A, what the examiner tell, why C company's problem may have developed, what are the reasons for development of the C company's problem. One is system management, that means the management style of this Dr. Strong. See what examiner tell, Dr. Strong system of management clearly does not support the innovatory science that the C pharmaceutical company depend on for its commercial success. His style is not support innovatory science that the C pharmaceutical company depend on for its commercial success. Dr. Strong system with its strict financial and personal discipline clearly constrain the creativity of the research and development unit scientists. So, his strict control system has limit the creativity of the R&D unit scientists. But the second problem, mechanistic bureaucratic system in place. It is widely accepted that a management system based on rules, procedures and routing is unsuited to dealing with new problem and rapid development. This type of structure is not suitable for creativity. Bernstein stole a call such as system and mechanistic system and contrast with an organic system. The latter emphasize interactive teamwork, that means organic structure. They encourage more interactive teamwork, collaborative problem solving, respect for individual expertise at all level and commitment to the overall task. This is like to be very effective in context such as R&D. So, organic structure may be more suitable for this type of organizations. However, such an approach is not license for random unstructured activity more or less directed at a vague objective, there is still a need for control of resources and effort. In an organic system, this is achieved largely by cultural means. There is a network structure of control with decision and plan being made after consultation with all parties concerned. The bureaucratic idea of power flowing down from the top of the hierarchy is largely abandoned. Prestige and influence can exceed envy and tend to revolve around expertise. So, you have more flexible structure where the power is mainly based on the expertise, right. Then part B. So, what are the solutions? Two solutions, no. So, one is to replace Dr. Strong, other one is teamwork and collaboration. That means you are trying to have more flexible structure. So, you look at the first point given. Replacing Dr. Strong, it is probably impossible for Dr. Strong to preside over such a system because of his commitment to the more formal current method. He may have to go. However, scientists generally will find a more collegiate approach familiar and easy to operate. If it is necessary to replace Dr. Strong, an important criterion for the selection of a replacement will be experience of operating a more organic system of management. Right. You can have more organic structure by replacing him, right. Then teamwork and collaborations. It would then be appropriate to encourage teamwork and collaboration within the R&D unit by employing suitable HRM policies. For example, recruitment should emphasize commitment to those ideas. Ideal appraisal should be based on actual work done rather than procedures adherent to, and remuneration should be included an element of reward for team success. Yes, is suggesting to have more performance based appraisal system, right. However, none of this should be done at the expense of individual creativity. So, then he is telling innovation can be encouraged in other ways. So, how you can encourage innovation in other ways? Leaders must create a vision and climate of support that take a long term view of R&D. Suitable target should be set to cover both short and long term time scale. So, there should be a vision and top management should support on R&D. The second point is risk must be accepted. Not all programs may come to fruition, but there must be no recriminations for failure not caused by incompetence. You should allow them to accept the risk. Third one, a careful watch should be kept on what is going on in the wider pharmaceutical development world. This is not so that ideas can be copied, but so that R&D staff can learn from others and not stimulate into a speculation and experiment. So, you have to look at what is happening in the industry. Based on that, you have to learn and you have to adapt that one within the organization. It is also appropriate to keep abreast of emerging requirement for new products. So, with that we can complete question number 38, then we can move to the next questions. Question number 39. Question number 39, FEC company, it's 25 mark questions. Look at the part A. outline what should be covered in the series of training session to help members of staff in the finance department improve their communication skill. So, this tests your knowledge regarding the communications. So, you may not learn a separate topic called communication under this syllabus, but communication skill is required for performing many tasks. You have learned this one in your previous studies. So, that the first part, right. Then part B, analyze how implementing FEC company staff appraisal system in the finance department could help improve the performance of staff. Analyze how implementing FEC's company staff appraisal system in the finance department could help improve the performance of staff. That is connected with the performance evaluations, right. So, first of all, we look at about the facts given also. We will try to understand what is the problem of these organizations. PR has recently joined FPC company as a new finance director, is required to work towards getting the finance staff to play a fuller role in the company, become more integrated into the strategic and business activities of the organizations. However, PR is aware that this will not be an easy task, since his impression is that the finance department has a very poor reputation in the company. Then there is a new finance director, so he want to involve finance people with other people, but unfortunately he has found that the impression of the finance department is not good. They have very poor reputation in the company, and their relation with the other department also not good. Having discussed the poor perception with the other department head, it is clear that the finance staff are generally viewed as being unhelpful. Finance guy have been identified as unhelpful guys. Many of the complaints around poor communications, they are not good communicators. A consistent comment made is that messages received from the finance department are too complicated and that too much financial jargon is used. Look at that sentence carefully. A consistent comment made is that messages received from the finance department are too complicated and that too much financial jargon is used. That means the message is not simply convey, right, because financial terms may not be understandable to other people in the organizations. Another common observation that at inter-department meeting, the finance team use financial speak which other members of staff find hard to understand. The finance staff have an obsession with financial indicators and do not appreciate that there are other factors within informed decisions. They only look at our financial indicators, not considering our non-financial indicators. It is also felt that too many emails are sent from the finance department and it is often difficult to find the relevant information on some of the financial spreadsheet circular which are supposed to help in decision making. So, something wrong with this email sending also, right. So, they are not communicating it properly, right. PR has noted that many of the staff in the finance department are demotivated, none of them appear to have clear target and objectives. Most of them are demotivated and none of them have clear target and objective, and they have told him that they have had no feedback on their performance and staff development simply has not existed. Now this para is looking about the requirement of the part B of the questions, performance appraisal. Now what is the problem with the performance appraisal? They do not have given clear targets and objectives, no feedback is given on job performance, no staff development. PR has established that while there is company wide staff performance appraisal system in place, none of the staff in his department have had an appraisal in recent years. That means they have not conducted performance evaluations. PR has identified a number of immediate action to improve the performance of the finance department. He has decided that all staff in the finance department need training to improve their communication skills. He also intend to make sure the company appraisal system is implemented and that all staff in his department will have an appraisal in the next 3 months. So these are the suggestions. So improve communication skill and have a good appraisal systems. So look at the way that question has organized. First one give introduction about problem they new guy has joined in, he has found that there is a problem. Then second para explain this communication problem of them. Third para explain the problem of performance evaluation. Fourth para tell to solve this communication problem and the appraisal problem, right. So based on that question has been developed. So part A, outline what should be covered in the series of training session to help members of staff in the finance department improve their communication skills. So how can we address these questions? So outline what should be covered in the series of training session to help members of staff in the finance department improve their communication skill, right. If you look at about these questions, part A, outline what should be covered in the series of training session to help members of the staff in the finance department their communication skill. So what are the area we can cover in our training sessions? So first of all, actually we have to identify the purpose of training in communications. Purpose of training in communications. So what is the main purpose here? So you have to explain to the employees, awareness should be given that the communication done by the finance department is not good. There are some issues with the communication made by the finance department, and at the same time you have to emphasize to the staff some consequences of this type of poor communications. First of all, you tell what are the reason for conducting this training program. So under that you have to tell them that there is an issue regarding the communication made by the finance department and some consequence of such poor communications also can be explained. Then after that we can look at about some of the communication problem of them. Communication problem, when you are doing that you can look at about some basic communication model. So, you can look at about some basic communication model. So, do you remember the basic communication model? If I take very simple one. So, you have a sender, you use a medium, then you have a receiver, sender, medium, you have a receiver, then feedback is given by receiver to the sender. Receiver provide the feedback to the sender, then in addition that one you may remember that here you are sending a message actually, here receiving the message, here encoding is done, here decoding is done, then there may be some disruption taken place, for example, there may be some noise, you can identify that one, noise. So, barriers actually, the problem you are facing when you are communicating that one, may be some issue with the communication line like that, right. So, this is a basic communication model now. You can use this one to identify the problem associated with them, right. Then what are the areas we can look at? Here we can start from the sender. From the sender's point of view, so what he has to do is when he is giving a message, he has to use very simple language, it should not be a difficult one. He has to understand who is his recipient, very important one. Based on the recipient knowledge level, he has to decide how he is going to give the message, very important one. For an example, the way that I am going to address you should be different from the way that I am going to address the A-level students. So, two different educational level. So, I have to adjust my style accordingly. Right. Then the other thing is from receiver point of view, what receiver has to do is, receiver has to be conscious when he is getting a message, but here we assume that there are no issue related with that one. Then whatever the message actually, composition of the message, if you look at about the given scenario, are there any issues regarding the composition of the message? Yes, there are some issues regarding the composition of the message. What are the issues they have? They use some technical jargon. So, therefore, you have to avoid this technical jargon. Within the message, it should be very clear one, should not use technical jargon. Then medium, here they have stated that lot of email has been used, so that may not be the best source. You have to think about some alternatives. According to the situation, you have to define what is the best medium you can use. For example, sometimes letters may be better, letters. So, when you have send a printed material, then reader may be very happy on that letters. Then here another problem they have mentioned is feedback. They are not taking feedback, no. So, always better to get the feedback from the other parties, right. From that they can come to a better conclusion about the effectiveness of the communications. So, these are some of the things you can look at. You just look at about the basic model, based on that you are giving suggestion. Sender point of view, so they should be asked to use simple language in communications, and they have to look at about the recipient education level. Based on that they have to determine how they are going to give the message. Then receiver side they should be consciously right, listen the message. Then message should not include some technical jargon, it should be very simple one. Then medium, based on the situation you have to decide the medium. So, you can for example, some cases you can use letters. Then another one is you can get the feedback, right. So, we will look at about the examiner's answer, what he is telling on this. Look at the part A, the purpose of training in communications. Training should have a purpose. In FEC company, PR has recognized a problem of poor communications by finance staff that is ongoing with no effort to resolve it. Now, see, you have to explain the purpose, right. So, first of all, they have to communicate that there is a problem associated with the finance staff. The overall aim of the training session should therefore be to create awareness among finance staff that there is a problem with communication for which they are responsible. So, overall purpose is to create awareness that there is a problem of their communications. They also need to understand the consequences of poor communications. So, they want to understand consequence of poor communication also, which is that the information provided is not understood and acted on in the way that is should be. Having recognized the problem of poor communication, staff should then be trained to learn method that can be used to improve their communication skill. So, then they will understand their problem and they will learn how to solve it. It then be responsible to the PR to ensure that these skills can be applied in practice by introducing change into the way that finance information is communicated by the finance team. Right. Communication problem and communication model. You can use this communication model to understand this problem. Training should initially focus on the problem that exists in FEC company. As a way of structuring the problem, it will be useful to discuss a sample communication model. So, I explain this sample communication model here, but he has not given a model here. Communication occur between the creator of a message and its recipient or consumer of information. He is trying to explain the part of the model actually. Creator, recipient. The information is provided through messages which are delivered in a language used by the creator that the consumer must interpret and decode. The information is provided through messages which are delivered in a language used by the creator that the consumer must interpret and decode. The information is delivered through chosen media. A basic communication model therefore consists of creator and consumers, the message, the language of the message and the medium for transmitting the message. So, normally basic communication model consists of creator and consumers, then message, language of the message and medium for transmitting the message. Training should encourage finance staff to understand that problem in communication can occur with any of these, making the communication process ineffective. Right. Then training session should go on to cover the nature of communication problem in more detail, how they arise in FPC and what can be done to deal with the problem. Now he is trying to explain the part of the communication model and solution. He is talking about the creator and the message. A training session might focus on the creators of information and the content of the message that they send. Now here you think about the sender, that means the party who create the informations, then the next one is the content of the messages. Finance staff should be trained to think about the purpose of the information they send out and what they should be trying to achieve with the information. So finance staff should be trained to think about the purpose of the information they send out and what they should be trying to achieve with the information. Yes, they have to think, no, what is the purpose of information sending by them and ultimately what they want to achieve. This includes recognizing that the purpose of much communication is to prompt a reaction by its recipient. So one of the objectives is to see some reaction from the recipient. To do this, the recipient need to be aware of the information and understand what is mean. So they have to understand that. Staff should be taught about the need to recognize the level of understanding of the recipient of information. So staff should be taught about the need to recognize the level of understanding of the recipient of information. Yes. In the case of financial information, it is particularly important to recognize that non-financial staff do not have a strong understanding of the technicalities of finance and accounting and unlike to understand or use the jargon that finance staff commonly use. Yes, they should avoid using this technical jargon. So they have to provide the message in a very simple way to understandable the recipient. Awareness need to be established that in FAC messages are often too complicated and there is excessive use of financial jargon. Training should include method of presenting relatively simple messages in language that the recipient can understand. The recipient of messages and the medium, Another training session might focus on how recipient get the messages and how they use them. It might also include training on the choice of medium or channel for sending the information. So here emphasize what type of medium you want to select, that is one area you can focus. Communication should mean something to the recipient and should prompt the recipient into action where appropriate. This means that the messages should grab their essential and sustain their interest. Messages should grab their attention. Messages should therefore highlight information that matters to the recipient and should be seen and understood by them. Finance staff need to understand that recipient of information respond to messages about non-financial as well as financial matters and may be disinclined to study financial indicators alone. They have to look at about non-financial information also. Training should also help staff to recognize the importance of using suitable communication channel for messages. We are told that there is excessive use of email in which it is difficult to identify relevant information. It might help to make finance staff aware of the number of emails that managers in FPC have to deal with each day and how they respond to many emails they receive. So they should avoid sending many email. Even they can think about some alternative way of communicating the same, like letters. Then staff should also be encouraged to think about the form in which the message is delivered. We are told that financial spreadsheets are used in which it is difficult to identify the significant informations. Training should address the issue of whether non-financial staff are familiar with spreadsheet and whether other method of presenting information, for example in graphical form or by highlighting significant information in another way, might be appropriate. So that is another problem they have stated, no. So that should be addressed. They have to think about some alternative of presenting the informations. Then feedback. a training session should try to get finance staff to understand the value of feedback and the need to monitor how recipients have responded to the messages sent out. Information has value only if it is used for decision making, and finance staff need to be aware of how the information they provide is used by managers within the company. If the information is not being used in the ways that intended, measures need to be taken to make the messages more effective. So, highlight the importance of getting feedback. No, to bring the training to an end, PR should lead a session on what need to be done to improve quality and effectiveness of financial information in the company. He might do this by announcing that he want to establish a communication plan in which all the issues, the purpose of information sent out by the finance department, its content, form, timing, avoiding use of technical language or jargon, and monitoring how it is understood and used are all considered. Right, he may prepare a communication plan. So, finally, including those things, training is best practice need to be converted into actual best practice. So, with that we have completed the part A, then we will move to part B of the same questions. Part B of the questions. So, what is the requirement here? Analyze how implementing FEC company staff appraisal system in the finance department could help improve the performance of staff. So, analyze how implementing FEC company staff appraisal system in finance department could help improve the performance of staff. So, what are the issues they have given here? So, this para we will look at about the issues. PR has noted that many of the staff in the finance department are demotivated. None of them appear to have clear target and objectives, and they have told him that they have had no feedback on their performance, and staff development simply has not existed. PR has established that while there is a company wide staff performance appraisal system in place, none of the staff in his department have an appraisal in recent years. No one in the department have an appraisal in recent years. So, within this actually the issues has been given. Anyway, we look at about theory part also little bit regarding this one. So, we discuss what is performance management. What is performance management? It is process to establish a shared understanding about what is to be achieved and an approach to managing and developing people in order to achieve it. So, this is a process to establish a shared understanding about what is to be achieved. Another one is it is an approach to managing and developing people in order to achieve it. Right, here if you look at the definitions, it say it try to establish shared understanding. What is shared understanding? That means employer and employee both agree, right? They have mutual understanding about what is to be achieved. So, what type of target they want to achieve, then they have an approach to managing and developing people in order to achieve it. Then performance appraisal is part of the system of performance management. We have discussed that one, including goal setting, performance monitoring, feedback and improvement planning. Normally, performance management aim to get better result for the organization via measurement and evaluation of individual performance. So, they try to get a better performance via measurement and evaluation of individual performance, right. I am not going for a detailed discussion regarding this. So, this is another thing you have to look at. If you look at the purpose of the performance appraisal, one of the objective is to do a reward review. Based on that, based on the performance of the employee, we can decide what type of reward we can give to the employee. For example, like bonus, pay increase, salary increment. Then performance review. So, based on the performance, we can identify some of the poor performance of the employee, then that can be identified for training and development purposes. Then other one is potential review. So, based on the performance of the employee, we can decide what type of development we can plan for them. For example, the promotions, right, succession planning. Right. So, I think this knowledge is enough to address this question requirement. So, what are the issues in this area? Here, what we have to do is analyze how implementing FVC company staff appraisal system in the finance department could help improve the performance of staff. Now, here many of the staff in the finance department are demotivated. That is one of the problem, right, demotivated. None of them appear to have clear target and objective. So, that should be one of the problems, no. So, normally in appraisal system, we should have identify clear target for employees. So, we have to address that, right, we have to address that. Right. So, first of all, what we can do is we can give a clear target for the employees. Establish clear performance target for the employees. Performance target for employees. So, we give answer for the first problem. What is the other? And they have told them that they have had no feedback on their performance. So, then something wrong, no. So, what you have to do, right, you have to do a annual appraisal. They have mentioned though that has not been done. Annual appraisal should be conducted, then feedback, performance feedback should be given. Performance feedback can be given. Even during the year, from time to time, informally supervisor can give feedback to the employee about their performance. Then another problem is staff development simply has not existed. So, we identify the three purposes of having this appraisal, right. Identify training requirement. So, we can suggest that one, identify training requirement and direct employee to get such training, then employee development, employee development, employee development and succession planning, employee development and succession planning is another thing we can suggest. Based on the performance, we can take action to develop the employee for future position, right, that can be suggested. Then in addition to that one, we can suggest to do this reward review also. Reward based on the performance of the employee, reward can be determined, for example bonus, then annual salary increment, annual salary increments, right. So, we will look at about the examiner's answer also relevant with this. The purpose of training in communications. So, we have covered that part, A part, we will look at the B part. Staff appraisal. Staff appraisal scheme usually have several purposes. In FEC, staff do not have clear target or objectives. When there are annual appraisal for members of staff, the process can be used to establish performance standard and target that are expected from individual. Informing individual about what is expected of them might encourage them to work in conformity standard or toward the stated goal. So, first one he is suggesting is to have established target for them. No, having established target of standard for individual, annual appraisal can be used to monitor actual performance by comparing with the target. At the end of the year, you can measure the actual performance, then compare with the target. Individual can be made aware of how well or how badly they have performed. Giving praise for good performance may motivate individual to maintain their standard in the future. So, feedback can be given based on that. Then next one is appraisal schemes are often linked to reward scheme and annual bonuses for achieving or exceeding target. Appraisal schemes are often linked to reward scheme and annual bonuses for achieving or exceeding target. Yes. So, we mentioned about that reward review. Pay is considered a strong motivator and the offer of reward can help individual to focus on achieving the target they have been set. A criticism of reward scheme is that individual may focus on achieving target to the exclusion of all other considerations. An incentive scheme must be carefully structured if they are to have the desired effect on overall performance. Yes, that part has been explained, reward part has been explained. Another use of appraisal system is to encourage personal development of individual employees. That we mentioned that point, employee development succession planning. Appraisal interview can be used by a boss to discuss with each team member individually what they have achieved in the year and what they have done well or badly. This constructive discussion can then be used to consider ways of improving performance and helping the individual to develop in the future. The outcome of an appraisal interview may be an agreement to send the individual for training in particular subject in order to develop their knowledge and skill. They may also be agreement on how the individual can be encouraged to improve by doing more varied work in the future or taking on more responsibility. Then appraisal interviews that are used to agree measures for training and development for the individual can motivate the individual, should create awareness that the organization is concerned about the individual and want to encourage the individual to develop and improve. to also help the individual to recognize more clearly the way in which he or she should be trying to improve. To have any value, appraisal interview should happen regularly, typically once a year. If they are held only infrequently as in FEC company, they will be ignored as nothing more than an occasional wasteful administrative exercise by HR department. Should be happening regular basis. Informally actually evaluation can be given throughout the year. Feedback actually can be given throughout the year. Line managers need to take ownership of the appraisal process for the process to be effective. It may also be argued that although formal appraisal interview should occur annually, there should be continual monitoring and mentoring of individual throughout the year to improve and sustain their personal development. With that, we can complete the question number 39. Right, then we will look at about another questions, question number 40. So, look at the requirement of the questions. Explain the difference between the characteristic of KCC's culture when it was first set up and the culture the company is likely to have now. So, it tests your knowledge regarding the culture. So, we look at about the theory area relevant with this. If you remember, we discussed about 4 different cultures according to Handy, right. So, Handy has identified 4 different type of cultures which can be available in the business environment. So, what are the 4 cultures Handy has identified? First one is power culture, second one is role culture, third one is task culture, fourth one is personal culture. What is power culture? So, in the power culture, one person dominate. Power is centralized at the center of the organizations and it may be held by one individual or few persons. In this type of culture, there are only few formal rules and they have very little bureaucracy. Then role culture, so in a role culture you can identify more defined rules, policies and procedures. Organization activities are conducted according to defined rule, policies and procedures, and here decision making is delegated to individuals and clear defined job and responsibilities are available. Then task culture, here we have established project team to solve particular problems. This is more suitable for organization, they have projects. The individual power and authority come from their expertise and knowledge and their ability to perform particular task for the project team. Then person culture, in person culture, individual believes themselves to be superior to the organizations. Then organization exists to serve their interest. One of the example for this type of culture is some of the celebrity stars, right. So, we discuss about 4 type of cultures, then we look at about the questions. Required to explain the difference between the characteristic of KC's culture when it was set up and the culture the companies like to have now. So, there may be 2 different type of cultures exist in this organization. Initially one culture, now different culture. So, we will go through the facts and try to identify that. CT established her business KCC specializing in making handmade cakes 6 years ago. So, what type of business they have? They have cakes, initially CT worked from her home developing new recipe and cake design. So, here the owner name is CT, actually her business is KCC. So, what type of business they are doing is making cakes. Business was established 6 years ago. So, how she was developed the business? Initially she worked from the home. අවුරුදු දැකලා තියෙන තරම් ලංකාවේ තුගක් තැන්වල පොඩි තැන්වල මුලින්ම කේක් ගෙදර තමයි හදන්න පොඩි බෝඩ් එකක් දාගෙන. So, initial CT work from home, developing new recipe and cake design. The business threw on to creative talent of CT and her staff. In fact, the business became more successful than CT would have hoped for, with a number of upmarket supermarket now stocking her product. Now, this expanded business. 6 years on, CT is reflecting on her success. 6 years on, CT is reflecting on her success. She does feel that things have changed significantly since the early days when her business was run from her home kitchen. Now, she thinks that now the scenario has been completely changed. To satisfy increase in demand 3 years ago, she brought a factory for the production of her cake. Now, she is having a factory, and in the last year she has opened 5 shops to sell the company product. KC is currently employing over 450 staff, and the company has significantly changed compared to when it was first established. It now has a formal functional structure, and the culture has more of the feeling of a large bureaucratic organization. That means they have clearly defined rules, policies and procedures. CT feels that she has lost the passion and enthusiasm she once had for business, feel that far too much of her time is spent on management issues rather than creating design for cake. She has a senior management team made up of the managers looking after different functional areas of the business. They make decisions about the running of the business, but seem to be focused on achieving efficiencies, control and bottom line performance, have little interest in the creative side of the business. What do you think? Right, so they have more bureaucratic nature business. CT used to be on first name terms with her staff, but this is no longer the case. She was particularly saddened when she overheard an employee comment that he just felt he was a robot on a production line rather than a craft worker, and that his ideas for new cake design do not get heard. So, we have to compare the 2 cultures. Initially, she was conducting the business from her home. She was dominating in the business, only few employees were there. So, what type of culture initial business can have? Should be power culture. So, the power is retained with this person, the owner, and initially they may have few formal rules. So, power culture. Then later what has happened, now Later what has happened, they have more formal functional structure and culture has more the feel of a large bureaucratic organizations. That means they are governed through more formal rules, policies and procedures. At the same time, in last FARA it was mentioned that these managers, they focused on achieving efficiencies, control and bottom line performance and have little interest in the creative side of the business. So, these are features of bureaucratic organization. Bureaucratic features normally can be found in role culture. If you look at about the Handy's classification we have discussed, role culture. So, here they have clear defined job and responsibilities, at the same time they have more formal rules and procedures. So, therefore, they have more role culture type of organization here, right. So, we will look at about the examiner answer also, what the examiner tell on this. So, look at the examiner's answer. Organization culture is the way we do things round here. The culture of an organization such as cases may be differentiated by their structures, process and management method. First of all, he has defined what is organizational culture. When CT first established a business, culture may be described as a power or club culture. A power culture is shaped by one individual. The culture of KC would be based and shaped around CT. Much of the drive for growth would be through her own passion and enthusiasm. Much of her time would be spent on creating design for cakes. So, power culture, he has identified it as a power culture. KCC was able to react quickly to change because it was adaptable, informal and decision making was quick. KCC was able to react quickly to change because it was adaptable, informal and decision making was quick. Within KCC, there was little formalizations and few rules and procedures. As the organization was relatively small, all the staff would know each other. It was mentioned, no, she was calling the name from each member like that. CT was on first name term with all her staff, yes, it has mentioned. And CT had direct communication with all her employees. Little formalization, few rules and procedures. So, it is more power culture features. As KCC grew, it would have introduced more formal structures and control system. The culture that emerged is like to be a role culture. Role culture is a bureaucratic culture shaped by rationality, rules and procedures. Role culture is a bureaucratic culture shaped by rationality, rules and procedures. There is a presumption, logic and rationality. The characteristic of the culture that KCC like to have now are those of a role culture, and these contrast with the power culture of the company when it was first set up. Yes, they have more role culture features because of having more formal rules, policies and procedures. KCC now rely on formalized rules and procedures for work routing. This is seen by the employee who was overheard commenting that he felt he was just a robot on the production line rather than a craft worker. Clearly say that they are work based on the job description given. Decision making in a role culture such as KCC will be standardized and bureaucratic. Decision also tend to be controlled at the center. KCC has a senior management team who are focused on achieving efficiencies, control and a bottom line performance. KCC has managers who look after different functional areas of the business. Communication will tend to be vertical within these functions and creativity may be stable. This can be seen by the fact that KCC has functional managers who seem to have little interest in the creative side of the business. Right. So, they have more vertical communications. If you look at the examiner, what he has identified is initially they had power culture, since decision was made by this owner CT, the company was based on that particular person. Then later part, what has happened is it become a role culture and start to work based on rules, policies and procedures. Right. So, with that we can complete question number 40 also, and we will move to the next questions, question number 41. Right. Here what is the requirement? Discuss the recommendation TS consultant could make to help improve performance and staff morale in the finance department of YR hospital with reference to Herzberg motivation theory and Blake and Mountain management style. So, 10 mark questions. Right. So, here it tests your knowledge regarding two theories. One is Herzberg motivation theory, other one is Blake and Mountain management style. So, first of all we will have a theory discussion on Herzberg motivation theory. Right. So, if you remember Herzberg two factor theory, so Herzberg theory start with the assumption that the opposite word of the dissatisfaction is not satisfaction. Herzberg identify a point between satisfaction and dissatisfactions. You say that when employee is dissatisfied, first of all what you have to do is to remove the dissatisfaction of the employees. Factors which is helpful to remove the dissatisfaction of the employee were identified as hygiene factors, then he said that the employee come to 0 point, right, when dissatisfaction is removed, he come to 0 point, then what organization want to do is they have to use the motivator factors. By using the motivator factors, they can make the employee satisfactions. He identify factors which act as a hygiene factors. What are the example for hygiene factors that is given? We look at about the note presentation, look at what are the hygiene factors. For example, condition at work, for example working conditions. Look at about the working conditions, for example say you have very strict working condition that may lead for dissatisfaction, you can correct this one by making a better working conditions. In job security, if the employees do not have job security, then they are dissatisfied, right. So, you can correct that one by making employee permanent. For example, contract employee can be made permanent, then they will have the required job security. Then another one is interpersonal relation network. Interpersonal relation network. So, if you have very bad relation with the others, then you will not be happy. Supervision another factor. If you have a very bad supervisor, then you will not be happy. Then company policies, strict company policies may create dissatisfaction. Pay means salary here actually. Salary, if you are paid a low salary, then you are dissatisfied, right. What can happen is hygiene factors cause dissatisfaction in the individual if the individual needs are not met. Right. They do not motivate the individual to perform better. So, existence of these factors will be helpful to not to make them unhappy, but they will not make them happy. The making in ඇත්තටම dissatisfaction එක නැතුව employee zero level එකේ තියාගන්න එක තමයි මේකෙන් වෙන්නේ. මේවා හරියට නැත්නම් එහෙම employee dissatisfied බවට පත් වෙනවා. And the other one is personal need for personal growth and fulfillment or satisfaction side. So, you can use motivator factor to do that. What are the example for motivator factors? For example, challenging work, opportunity to go up in the ladder, then achievement, recognition from bosses and colleagues, responsibility, then pay. Here the pay cover incentive bonus. The salary normally identified as a hygiene factor, but incentives, allowances, bonuses, they are identified as motivator factors, right. So, we will look at about the theory part, we will look at about the questions. TS consultant has been asked to investigate the issues underlying the underperformance and low staff morale of the finance department in YR hospital. TS consultant has been asked to investigate the issues underlying the underperformance and low staff morale of the finance department in YR hospital. The consultant have access to various sources of information such as the recent staff satisfaction survey, which shows that staff morale in the department is low. In addition, statistics from the HR department reveal that both absenteeism and staff turnover are exceptionally high in the finance department. So, that indicate that something wrong with the organization. This absenteeism and the staff turnover are symptom of employee dissatisfactions. That means they are not happy. Employee dissatisfaction. There have also been many complaints from other areas of the hospital about both the management and staff work in the department. However, staff enjoy competitive salaries and other excellent working conditions. Look at this point. Now, employees are leaving, right? Then they take more leaves. But look at the next sentence given. However, staff enjoy competitive salaries. That means salary is good. That means this hygiene factor is fulfilled. Other excellent working conditions. Their working conditions are also good, such as free car parking and subsidized canteen and access to sport facilities. That means hygiene factors are available. So, nothing wrong with the hygiene factors. The consultant have run some focus group with members of staff working in the department, try to gather more information to help them better understand the cause of underperformance and low staff morale. The findings suggest that there appear to be very much a them and us culture between management and staff. That means there is a distance between those two groups, with the managers in the department exerting power based on their position and status. With the managers in the department exerting power based on their position and status, staff say that they are only allowed to undertake specific activity including their narrow job description and feel unable to fully contribute as a result of the chain of command in the finance department. That means no challenging work is given. There is no opportunity for them to enjoy sense of achievement. Staff also say that they are not involved in decision regarding department activities, and many say they have not had any training, no opportunity for career advancement. They mention that there are very few career progression opportunities because of this, clearly mention that point. They feel their contributions are not recognized by management, not recognized, no recognitions, and that they never receive feedback on their performance. Staff characterize the leadership and management of the department as task focused with tight control and close supervisions. Right. So, what do you think? If you analyze the scenario given here, what the conclusion we can make is they have hygiene factors, existence of hygiene factors, but unfortunately the motivator factors are not available. No sense of achievement, no challenging work, then there are no opportunity for career advancement, no recognition for their work. So, motivator factors are not available. So, what they have to do is they have to work with the motivation factors. What about this management style here? It is clearly given this task focus, no, with tight control and close supervisions. So, what the best option available for them? If you remember Blake and Mountain leadership style. Now, here they are task oriented. Here this 9.1, they are concerned for production, but low concern for people. So, what is the best option? I count Blake and Mountain managerial grid. The team option is the best one. So, what they can do? They can try to become a team team style. That should be the answer on that part. Right. So, we look at the examiner's answer also. So, what examiner tell on the first part? Herzberg motivation theory. Staff in the finance department of YR hospital enjoy competitive salaries and benefit, yet morale is low and they are performing poorly. Herzberg classifies salary and benefit as hygiene factors rather than motivator factors. Hygiene factors are essentially preventative. They prevent or minimize dissatisfaction, but do not give satisfaction in the same way that sanitations minimize threat to health, but does not give good health. They are called maintenance factors because they have to be continued to avoid dissatisfactions. Yes, they have fulfilled the hygiene factors. Hygiene factors are available. What the staff lack are motivator factors. Motivator factors create job satisfaction, are effective in motivating in an individual to superior performance and effort. In this context, missing motivator factors include, what are the factors? First one, advancement and growth in the job. Staff have not received any training. Responsibility and challenges, staff must keep within a narrow job description and have no chance to take the initiative to make decision on the department activity. Recognition and achievement, the focus on restricted tasks and close supervision stabilize development and employee do not feel trusted. The main reason for this is that there is very little feedback on performance. So, those things are not there, no. Even no recognitions. Herzberg suggests that if there is sufficient challenge, scope and interest in the job, there will be lasting increase in satisfaction and employee will work well, product will be above normal level. Then management style, task oriented management style. The lack of motivation is a function of management style. Baker and Morton identified two basic dimensions of leadership, concern for production and concern for people. We saw that one in the model. It is clear that in the finance department, management is task oriented, concentrating solely on achieving result and ignoring people's need. They are ignoring about the people's need, they only think about the task. In fact, if people need to ignore for too long, result often suffer. So, what are the suggestions you can make? Right, look at the recommendation given. A more participative management style is needed. A participative management style is defined by Likert as one where the leader has complete confidence in subordinates who are allowed to make decisions for themselves. Motivation is by reward for achieving goals set by participation, and there is a substantial amount of sharing of ideas, opinion and cooperation. So, participation management style. So, you encourage employee to involve in the decision making process, that will increase their satisfactions. A more consultative management style defined by Likert as one where leader has some confidence subordinate, listen to them but control decision making, motivate by reward and a level of involvement and will use the ideas and suggestions of subordinate constructively. So, you consult employee before taking decision, that will also increase their motivations. Empowerment of staff, this involves making staff responsible for achieving and in some cases setting work target. So, you give the responsibility for them. So, you fulfill one of the motivator factor. Delayering, this means cutting the number of level in the chain of command. This will overcome them and us culture that currently exists between management and staff by pushing the responsibility further down. So, gap can be reduced by reducing number of level in the organizations. Then feedback. So, current staff do not receive feedback and effective appraisal system would overcome this. So, you can give the feedback for them. Learning and development, training is needed whether formal or in the form of mentoring. As staff take on more responsibility, they will need more knowledge and skill. Learning and development opportunity can also be given to the employees. Right, with that we can complete question number 41.